recent study found that 65% of professional salespeople today are unhappy in their current roles. 2/3 of all professional salespeople wake up every morning not looking forward to their day and enjoying what they do and who they work for. And the study also found that over half of these folks are actively looking for new sales jobs. I was recently asked if I found these statistics surprising, and I don't, for a few reasons. First, most salespeople today are not happy in their current roles because they are not getting the support they need, regardless of their level of success or years with the company. For those who are struggling to meet quota, they're not getting the proper training, mentoring, and coaching to make improvements in the key areas for their personal development. Now, this is because companies have about 50% more salespeople than they truly need. Wait, did I just say 50% more salespeople than they need? Yes, because most companies build in high failure rates for salespeople, knowing most won't hit quota. They don't spend the time or have the right personnel to develop salespeople on an individual level, so many struggle, don't hit quota, don't get the support they need, and end up feeling like losers. Now, for those who are successful in overachieving quota, they feel like they are having to overcome needless internal obstacles and their management isn't providing any value to their selling. In short, they feel like their management isn't moving things out of their way so they can do what they do best, sell more. And then when it comes to crunch time and quarter end or year end, numbers need to be hit. Management pushes these ultra high performers to sell more, to accelerate deals to close when they aren't ready. And the number one reason why top performing salespeople leave one company to go to another is not about compensation. It is about feeling taken for granted and not being supported in the way that helps them sell more. And the feeling of lack of respect from both groups stems from not getting the support that they both need. Now, this isn't a new phenomenon. It has recently surfaced because of the study, but in reality, it has been going on for years. And the core reason this has gone on for so long within sales organizations is that most companies are not sales-driven. True sales-driven companies recognize that the most important people in the organization are the salespeople. It doesn't mean that the salespeople are better than everyone else. It simply means that everyone in the company, from the CEO down, realizes that if the salespeople are not able to do their job effectively, then there is no company. And if you want to know if a company is truly sales-driven, then there are 7 things you need to look for. Now, first, there has to be a belief throughout the company that the salespeople are the most important people. Everyone knows that helping a salesperson close a deal is the most important thing they can do. There's no divisions between sales and everyone else. Second, look at the senior sales leader and see how long they've been at the company and how are they viewed among the executives. If there's turnover every 2 to 3 years in the position and you don't see the senior sales leader listed among the executives and directors, that's a warning sign. Third, look at compensation plans. From the top down, are sales plans allowing salespeople to make more money from one year to the next? And it's a pretty simple analysis. You just take the previous year's sales plan and compare it to the new one with the same quota that was sold. If someone earns more, it's better. If not, it's worse, period. I've seen plans that pay more at 100% or 125% of quota, but there was an increase of 10% or more in quota. That's not better, that's worse. Also, the people who are strictly new business sales should make 50% more than those that sell only into the install base. If someone sells a deal that has a recurring revenue component, then the rep that sold it should get compensated at renewal as well. It should go to someone else. Now, when I would create comp plans for my companies or advise companies on compensation structure, I would have commission accelerators and lucrative bonuses for the ultra high performers when they overperform. Why? Because that is what drives them to sell even more and keeps them from being lured away by a competitor. Now, what do non-sales driven companies do? They cap their earnings either directly or through the way they structure the comp plan. They continue to make them do useless sales admin tasks that do nothing to help them sell more or better. They have them report to managers or directors who provide little to no value to their sales performance, but still insist on weekly one-on-ones or spend time on whether or not Salesforce.com is up to date. If they sell a product or service that creates recurring revenue for the company, they don't pay them commissions in the future years, but instead, they keep the higher margin revenue stream for themselves. The top salespeople should be the highest paid people in the company, period. Fourth, there should be investment in individual development. And I'm not talking about outside sales training or inside sales training or CRM systems. Those are just table stakes. Every company should do that. I'm talking about paying outside experts to help individual salespeople with their needs and skill gaps. I've hired outside voice coaches for salespeople, experts on body language and presentations, outside contract lawyers to teach salespeople the intricacies of certain sections of our contracts so they didn't have to rely on in-house attorneys and slow up their deals. I paid for personal development programs to help salespeople develop more confidence and to be more goal-oriented. I've brought in personal trainers to do programs before or after work to help people get physically fit. See, these are the things sales-driven companies do for their salespeople. Number 5, there should be low sales turnover. The turnover of salespeople every year should be under 10%. Number 6, there should be a good sense of friendly competition among salespeople coupled with a spirit of camaraderie. The fact of the matter is that sales is competitive and people are ranked by performance. There's always a best and always a worst. It's just the way it goes. That doesn't exist anywhere else in a company. I mean, can you imagine a company ranking their accountants or HR people based on their performance of their job? Their heads would explode. Every salesperson wants to be best by being the best they can be, but they should also want and need their peers to perform as well. They just want to perform a little better. And finally, there needs to be appropriate recognition and reward, not just for the salesperson, but also for those that support them. Every company should do something special for those reps who were 100% for the year. Now, my position has always been that they shouldn't roll out the red carpet for these people because if quotas are set correctly, being 100% a plan means just doing your job. It isn't an extraordinary effort, but yes, being 100% in sales and dealing with the stress is much harder than any other non-executive position, and I've defended that hundreds of times. But there should be an extra level of recognition for those who overperform, and I always had recommended to companies that there should be 2 levels of extra recognition. I usually have a higher level of recognition for everyone above 125% of quota, and this would involve an all-expense-paid trip to a great location for the rep and a guest. A company should recognize that salespeople at this level worked hard, faced a lot of stress and pressure, many hours, and that carries over to spouses and significant others in their lives. You want to recognize those people as well on these trips. These trips need to be a minimum of 4 days and 3 nights, and the reps should not incur any taxes for them. I mean, I've seen companies who do trips and then they treat the trip as a benefit to the rep, and they pay tax on the value of the trip. I mean, how stupid is that? And finally, a company should provide a higher level of recognition for its ultra-high performers, the top 5%. And it doesn't necessarily need to be publicized, but it is something very special that makes these ultra-high performers feel respected, and quite frankly, it recognizes the financial value to the company. Typically, these top performers bring in higher margin revenue for the company, so anything extra you pay them is well justified. And I've done things for these ultra-high performers like trips to New York or LA and London that included $10,000 shopping sprees. I provided 3-year leases on Porsches, week-long trips to cooking and golf and tennis schools. I purchased Rolexes, things that are more personal to an individual that provide a reminder throughout the year of the reward they received for their effort. Now, unfortunately, I've seen a disturbing trend over the past few years regarding sales compensation and recognition that seems to be following some social trends. I've seen companies start to treat sales recognition like youth t-ball and soccer. There's very little recognition given and everyone gets a participation trophy. Their view, typically led by HR, is that all employees are the same and should be treated equally. Salespeople get their recognition and reward via compensation, and there shouldn't be any additional recognition of their efforts in fear of alienating the other salespeople who weren't as successful or even other employees in the company. Hopefully that sounds as ridiculous and insane to you as it does to me. Now, I did a consulting engagement for a company to help them with their sales, hiring, and compensation practices. When we spoke about hiring, I told them that they needed to focus on hiring salespeople who were first and foremost money motivated. And the head of HR didn't like this at all and thought that that was just too individualistic. And they wanted people who bought into their culture and would be team players. Now, I had to remind her that those were not mutually exclusive concepts, but a salesperson's actions and motivations should be driven by their comp plan, because if comp plans are structured properly, then they are the roadmap the company has set for success for salespeople. So every morning when a rep decides what is most important for them to do that day, they should just look at their comp plan and follow it, because if they follow it, everyone wins. Folks, the bottom line is this: salespeople are the most important people in the company, period. Because if they don't do their job, then no more company. When revenues fall, hiring stops, layoffs occur, spending decreases. When it grows, people are hired, raises are given, budgets increase. Everybody's happy. And to have a truly sales-driven company culture, then you should hold up these highest performers in front of everyone and let them know that through their efforts, the company has done well. So if you want to know if your company is truly sales-driven, or before you join another company only to find out they aren't sales-driven, then look for evidence of these 7 factors of truly sales-driven companies.